The house opens and a dream is realized. Under the careful and loving hands of the founders and the volunteers, the house began to come alive. By the fall of 1982, most of the major repairs had been made. This came about through the efforts of many people, too numerous to name, from those who came faithfully to work, to others who had heard of their efforts and sent goods and checks. There was much joy in the work being done, and with that the community was made stronger. For example, once the walls were repaired and the floors clean, it was time to paint. It was no easy task, however. The house had 13 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a chapel, sacristy, meditation room, meeting room, dining room, kitchen, pantry, laundry room, sitting room, office, and several corridors. Every room needed at least 2 coats of paint. But Father Andre's approach to it turned it into a fun, community-building exercise. What could have been a chore was turned into a painting party. Volunteer Joe Petrona made up a flyer asking for donations, supplies, and anyone willing to help paint. It was handed out at the end of all the masses at St. Mary's and by volunteers to friends and families. The response was tremendous. On August 21, 1982, more than 40 people showed up, armed with their own brushes, rollers, tarps, sponges, and their lunches. The paint was donated by the Christian Brothers at All Hallows Institute. Bill Magner, a parishioner of St. Mary's, coordinated the day. The colors were eclectic, but the prize was right. Volunteers were paired off and assigned rooms where they painted as music filled the hallways. At midday, everyone gathered to share a meal. Many started out as strangers, but united under a common ministry, lifelong friendships were born. But more importantly, this experience gave them a taste of life in Franciscan community. Months later, when the idea of a new secular fraternity began to take shape, some volunteers would realize that their work at the retreat house had propelled them on the journey to profession into the order. On September 7, 1982, Father Alban, provincial minister, approved the name chosen for the house, the Little Portion. The name honored the tiny country chapel outside Assisi, St. Mary of the Angels, which Francis restored and renamed his little portion, La Porziuncola. We wanted to use a Franciscan name, Father Andre said. It was a little portion of paradise in the South Bronx. The name was appropriate for the retreat house, since many had given a little to great ends. On November 15, 1982, the second check for $19,000 arrived from the province, and on January 31, 1983, the little portion was dedicated. Invited guests included the volunteers, Fathers Alban, Neil Connolly, the Episcopal Vicar, and the pastoral team at Our Lady of Pity Parish. The house opened officially on January 31, 1983, a year to the day that Father Andre heard the voice. The dream was realized.